Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're gonna go over mind control, control and manipulation of thoughts, feelings, and ultimately behavior. Control of thoughts and thought patterns, feelings and their expression, behavior control. Dark NLP or Neuro Linguistic Programming and organized gang stalking, such as street theater comments coinciding with the programming that anchor feelings to certain words and sometimes colors, certain types of people or objects, creating the illusion of guilt or frustration. Hypnotic trigger words that result in specific sensations, feelings, or behaviors brought on by psychotronic attacks, voices in head or sounds, V2K, or certain events in your life. Monitoring attention, both where to look but also what to think about and in what terms through remote neural influences and subliminal ELF, low hertz waves from cell towers, etc. Real time mind reading and thought broadcasting, sometimes before it becomes aware of or apparent in the target's mind. Verbatim, the erasing or altering of thoughts and memories, short term memory problems, induced memories, or synthetic associations to those false memories that are believed to be made by an intelligence supercomputers aware of the context. Induced dreams or manipulation of dreams, disturbing visions, thoughts and imagery, sleep disorders and sleep deprivation, sometimes accompanying temporary induced paralysis or microcomas to force trauma or visions, sounds, and a state of fear of sleep. So let's start with sleep disorders and sleep deprivation. Sleep disorders, sleep deprivation. So, me, if you're homeless, if you are a drug user, your sleeping is not going to be as comfortable as it is necessary to be for you to be able to rest completely and fully. So, is sleep disorders. I mean, if you're every day, all day in a constant state of fear, you can be, you can think, come to the conclusions that you need something to keep you awake in order for you to be able to survive. This was actually the primary reason that I initially continued using crystal meth, because I felt that I could only survive if I was as alert as possible for as long as possible. But that was completely wrong. The truth of the matter is that the more rested you are, the better fed you are, the less intense and the less effective all the gang stalking things are going to be. So if you have sleep problems, take some ZMA, take some melatonin, and sleep as much as possible. That's gonna resolve in itself more than half the problems of gang stalking. If you're well rested, the voices are gonna go away, everything is gonna go away. Most of it is going to go away, or at least anything of that can really mess with your perceptions. Additionally, if you are being if you are being if you feel like you are an attack of sleep deprivation, if you live in a residential area, just know that there are rules, and do not immediately attribute all the sounds, music, cars, whatever, to gang stalking. First, you have to, if you are feeling like there is a sleep deprivation operation around you, chances are that it is, and chances are that it is possibly just a loud neighbor. So, first, you should go to speak with a neighbor. You should probably call the cops if there's a lot of cars revving engines on your street. You should do everything that is in your legal power to have peace. In addition to that, you should probably wear some earphones or some sleep earwear that will help you sleep better. If you have a home, if you are homeless, there are homeless shelters where you can just literally uh, walk in, tell them your current situation, and you can stay there. Or you can look for a better place to sleep. Also, let's see, microcomas, induced paralysis. No one is gonna induce a paralysis on you. There, microcomas, it could pretty much be where you kind of just are standing and your mind just kind of travels around. That happens more than anything because you are not rested and you are tired and your mind is possibly really tired. So the mind will require a lot of sleep, like a lot. And even when you are awake, your mind will be exhausted and it is really easily manipulated if you are in a state where your mind needs more rest. Now, real time mind reading and thought broadcasting, sometimes before it becomes aware or apparent in the target's mind. This is a symptom of having auditory hallucinations. If you feel that your thoughts are being broadcasted, rest and sleep a lot. It's gonna go away. Um, Gang stalker. If you're under the influence of drugs, the gang stalkers will do as much as possible to keep you on something and not rested. Um, Once you are well rested and and off substances, your mind will be back to a normal state. Any type of amphetamine will produce you paranoia to wonder if someone is watching this that. It's just a secondary effect of any substance abuse. And having paranoia will make your mind tired because it's constantly racing. So if you feel that your thoughts are being broadcasted, just sleep. Erasing or altering thoughts of memories. So erasing or altering of thoughts of memories, your thoughts will be you will have cuts and spaces in your memories if you're being gang stalked. That is just one of the side effects of gang stalking, but it doesn't mean that there is some type of technology messing with your mind. Even though every single part of you points to that direction, just know that that is not the case. Short-term memory problems, you know, that can happen to everyone when you misplace something and you just don't remember where you left it. So you're looking for it like crazy, and then you find it, and it's like, oh well, I guess I left it there. So if you're getting gang stalked, your default thought will be, oh, a gang stalker moved it away, put it somewhere else, which can be the case if there are people around you. However, if there is no one that has access to your things, then yeah, just know that it is you that you kind of just forgot. That's normal. Be aware of your default thought. If your default thought is gang stalkers did something to it, then that means that you have something to work on. That means that you have to literally just be aware of your current thought patterns and just tell yourself immediately after you have the gang stalking thought, you have to tell yourself, oh well, it is I probably left it there, and it has nothing to do with gang stalking. It is mental work that you have to do to reset your default thoughts. Just know that. Realize what your default thoughts are. Like, for the longest, when I was driving and a car would back up in front of me, in order to park the other way around, in order to back up into the parking lot, I would immediately think that my default thought was they're parking like that to bother me because they're making me stop. But in reality, it was just someone that wanted to back up into the parking spot. It had nothing to do with gang stalking. But it is normal to have that thought because that's how you have been manipulated. So just be aware of the thought patterns, and then just you have to be it's pretty much a confirmation bias. It's a bias that you're having that they was implemented in you. You were manipulated to have that thought. So you have to reset your default thoughts. You have to reset it. You have to re-default it to it is someone just backing into the parking spot. If you have any experience, just if you have any default thought that comes to mind that you thought was a gang stalker, but when you think about it more, it makes more sense that it is just a normal part of life, please write it in the comments. I want to know as much about it as you can possibly tell me. That way we have a collection of experiences, and we have more, and people can make more data points in order to return their perceptions back to normal. Remember, that is the goal of this channel, to completely make any type of gang stalking operation futile. Now, next, blah blah. Erasing alternating thoughts and memories, short-term memory problems, induced memories. There is no such thing as an induced memory. Actually, it is so fortunate that we're coming across this, because just yesterday, I had an experience that I couldn't believe I had the experience, because I was sober. So there was a couple that came into the parking or into the auto parts store, and they were looking for filters, right? So I don't know what happened, that I remember walking through the store, grabbing the filters, and it was so real. Like, I grabbed the 2 filters and I put them on the parts counter. But then I could have sworn I left them there, and then I walked away, and then I looked at the quote, which has the part numbers of the actual filters that I was gonna get, and it was a Wix filter, and it was another filter, but it wasn't the one that was in my head that I remember. I remembered pulling them, but it was kind of like choppy. I remember looking for them, and I remember placing them on the parts counter, and it was so real, like beyond anything that I had like ever like imagined, I guess. So then what happened was that I went to the parts counter, and I was like, I told the customers, I placed the filters here, didn't I? And they were like, no, you haven't brought them. And then I was like, really? You didn't put them away or something? And they were like, no. So then I did think, I was like, are they gang stalkers and they're messing with me? Or no, actually, I thought, are they stealing them from me? That was my first thought before thinking they were gang stalkers. And then when I thought more about it, then I thought, oh, what if they're gang stalkers and they're messing with me? So before, when I was getting gang stalked more frequently, my first default thought was gang stalkers are messing with me. And well, I went to grab the filters, and and they were a complete brand, so our inventory was still okay. Which means that I literally just imagined the whole thing. I imagined the whole thing, and it was the same experience that I had when I was getting gang stalked. But because of gang stalking, my default thought was the gang stalkers are messing with me. So that hadn't happened to me in months, and it happened yesterday. And after it happened, I told my coworker about it. I was like, I could have sworn that I grabbed the parts and then I put them on the parts counter. And then I went back, and then I didn't. And I thought that they stole them, but they didn't. Like, I don't know what happened. That was the craziest experience I've ever had. But then I was like, okay, I didn't tell them this. So this is punto y aparte, aside from a conversation with my coworker, that these experiences were far more frequent when I was getting gang stalked. So getting gang stalked does do this, where it creates false memories. Like, it was a false memory where I placed the counter, but because the context of gang stalking wasn't there, I didn't think it was gang stalking related. I thought that they grabbed the parts and they were putting them away in order to steal them. So gang stalking literally creates these big sorry. So gang stalking produces context to all these crazy experiences. And I attributed, thirdly, my third reasoning for this was it was gang stalking. It wasn't the default thought that I used to have before. But I could have sworn on the life of me that it was real. And that was like, holy shizzle. It was the same experience that I had when I was getting gang stalked. The exact same experience, but because I wasn't getting gang stalked, I thought they were just trying to steal it from me. So obviously, I still have some type of neural damage because this had never ever happened to me before. Before, my long-term drug use and before gang stalking. But I was tired. Like today I went to sleep at 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. I woke up at 5, 6, 7. Oh, I slept my 8 hours. But I was just so tired. 8, 9, 10. Oh, no, wait. It's not 10. No. So I slept like 9 hours, 8 hours. And I'm still tired. Like I still feel sleepy. And that's the crux of it, is that when you're tired, you're going to be having these experiences, but the gang stalking just adds the context. So you contextualize everything in the line to go with the narrative of gang stalking, which I am super thankful that I had that experience, because now I am literally getting to know more about gang stalking just by living my life. And thanks to the fact that I have that gang stalking experience, I can tell you the experience that was so outworldly, and it was so real. Like I literally even felt it, just grab the parts, and I remember lively that I grabbed the filters and placed them on the parts counter, and then I just came to my senses. So I don't know how long it took me to just come back to my senses. I don't know how long I was just there, like zoning out. I have no idea. Which literally was like the craziest experience ever. Like I don't know how long I was in the parts counter, just like this, looking at the quote. I have no idea. But because gang stalking is not it's not the primary narrative of my life. The primary narrative of my life is what I'm doing now. The primary narrative of my life is going to work, is making these videos, is going to the gym and getting the best shape I can possibly get. And giving you guys this information. So yeah, that was like the most uncanny experience ever, because it was really real. So during gang stalking, these are gonna be super, super frequent. So just know that these crazy illusions, because mirages, that's literally what it was. I remember just getting the parts, but I didn't. Which just led me to know that when you're getting gang stalked, you're gonna have these experiences. That you see things, you feel things, you live things, but you just live them in your head and you actually didn't do them. Which makes it so much harder to know what's real and what isn't. So because if I was in the gang stalking juice, I would probably think, oh, they put this memory in my head, to make me mess up. Or they were gang stalkers and they were putting putting the parts away so that I would look for them again. But because gang stalking is not the only thing that I think about now, it was the last thing that it came to my mind. which is why it's so important for you to have more important things to think about. When the most important thing in your life is gang stalking, when you see everything through the context of gang stalking, it's gonna do that to you. You're gonna believe that anything that happens to you is because of gang stalking. So you kind of have to reprioritize your thoughts. You first have to be aware of your default thoughts after gang stalking, and then you have to re-default them to the truth. And it's something that is gonna take time and practice. But I already did it, and I did it in like 4 months, 5 months, and I'm back to normal. Like nothing ever happened. People were trying, especially on social media, like they were like contacting me, and they were like, oh, someone was like, I know what you're going for. They gave me a pedophile. They wanted me to become a pedophile, and they became a pedophile. They wanted me to become a zoophiliac, and I gave them that. And then I was just like, oh, that's weird. It seems like it's induced conversation. Like they want me to talk about it, But then I was like, oh, I'm so sorry I replied to them. I am so sorry that that's happening to you. That's actually called gang stalking. You can look it up online. I wish the best for you, and I hope that your gang stalking experience, I hope that you beat this monster and whatever. Which I was being truly sympathetic, but I know now, I know better to not talk about this to anyone, because the people that know about this, I never told about anyone about it. So I was like, how does this person know that I'm getting gang stalked? I've never told anyone. So yeah. So then I just told them, oh, I wish you the best, and then I blocked them. So then, and another person, the guy this Asian guy who I hooked up with, who was telling me, I think I have the messages somewhere, but he was telling me, oh, everyone is against me. I'm having a panic attack. I'm becoming schizophrenic. Oh my God. But it was just like so obviously fake. It was like induced. This person wanted me to like talk about it. So it's like, if you're telling someone about it, why are you telling me? Out of someone who I just met you once, and yeah, why are you telling me out of all people? Why? I'm not your friend. Why are you talking to me about this thing? And it was just obviously like made up. And he was like, oh, everyone is against me, blah, blah. It's because this person wanted me to say, oh, I'm going through the same thing, and they're following me, there's that. But I told him, oh, that's called gang stalking, and you can look it up online, blah, blah. I didn't know as much of it as I know now. But what they want is this person was wanting me to type about it, so that this person would screenshot it and send it to all the other gang stalkers. That's what they want. So if you're getting gang stalked, don't message anyone about it. Don't tell anyone about it. Never, ever. That's the one thing that you cannot do, is ever share your gang stalking experiences verbally, and much less written down, because they're going to screenshot it and share it the fuck out of it to everyone. And guess what? And then they're gonna laugh at you. So if you're getting gang stalked, do not talk to anyone about it. Do not write it. Do not share it. Nothing. The only way that you are allowed is by doing these videos and keeping them private. I am making them public because I don't care anymore, and because I have a purpose and I have a goal. Everything I fed into the gang stalking as much as possible to talk about it. For this is my goal. All right. So I'm making them struggle by building up curiosity, because I'm telling everyone that I have a gang stalking playbook channel, but I'm not telling the name of it. So they're gonna be scrolling the internet to find it, and I don't care if they find it. More views for me. But I am just pretty much torturing them, because trust me, they have asked me, what's the name of your channel? What's the name of your channel? What's the name of your channel? And I'm like, oh, I can't tell you. I'm so sorry. I'm going to tell you when I have 500,000 million subscribers. I'm not going to tell them. Ever. they have to look for it. Anyways, so I do plan on actually coming out with it, but it's when I do my face reveal, and then it's when I have my book ready. So I have a lot of things that I'm gonna talk about. But the book is in the works. It's called the same thing. It's called the Gang Stalking Playbook, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be everything that we're talking on this channel in a more concise, and it's gonna have my journals, which we're gonna go about later. Everything that is on this channel is gonna be on the book, and it's gonna be anonymously published. Anyways, so next we have monitoring attention, both where to look, but also what to think about, and in what terms the remote neural influences and subliminal. So no. There's no subliminal influences, neural influences. There's no ELF from cell towers. No. Next, hypnotic trigger words that result in specific sensations, feelings, or behaviors brought on by psychotronic attacks. There's no psychotronic attacks. There's only old school, normal, amazing manipulation. That's it. And the trigger words, most of the trigger words you create in your head. So when you're connected and you feel that everything is done to tell you something, it's gonna be really obvious when they do it. Even though, so if you're sober, gang stalking becomes less powerful if you are on your five senses, like well rested. But when you're connected and your mind is tired, gang stalking manipulates your mind in a way where everything that you see you can identify with things. For example, I was on the drive-thru at Jack in the Box, and then I saw a woman spitting, and then I saw her spit, and then I immediately thought, like, my mind was manipulated to believe, oh, she's spitting, to you, because of you. And then I saw someone throwing trash, and then I saw and then my mind just went, oh, F, you're trash, and then my mind told me, like, if they were doing that to tell me that I'm trash. And then also I saw someone mopping the floor, and then my gang stalking mind just went, oh, we're gonna mop the floor with you. So gang stalking does that to you, where you attribute every little thing to gang stalking, and because you feel like it's for you, you feel that it is a symbol that gang stalkers impose on you. But the reality is that it isn't. It is only that you have been manipulated to feel that way. It's a manipulation. It's all a big manipulation. Now, so that's why trigger words are not because they trigger them, but it's because when you see it, you have that negative emotion that makes them a trigger. So you are the one making the trigger with your mind. It's not that it's an actual trigger. The triggers that the gang stalkers are trying to impose on you are really obvious. For example, one time when they wanted me to make the color orange a trigger, I was having a conversation with a gang stalker. He made an evil grin, and then he said orange. And then I left, and I went to my car, and there was like an orange cone. So then the effect that this thing is that when I was driving, and then I saw workers wearing the high visibility vest that was orange, I felt like that it was like a gang stalker thing, but it only lasted a little bit because the setup was so obvious. Also, one time I was in line and someone asked me, do you shoot up? And then I blocked them, like shooting up, like doing an injection. So then I walked into my car, and then I saw a syringe. And then for like a day or two, I saw people doing this and scratching their elbow. So then I never reacted like in any significant way. So they stopped doing it because they didn't get the result that they wanted from it. So yeah, so when they're trying to put a trigger, it becomes really obvious. That's what they're trying to give you words. That's why they're trying to throw. That's why they're throwing words at you like hull, or transmission fluid, or bearing. You know, so they're trying to throw these words at you because they're mocking you. They're trying to find something that triggers you. The whole thing is so this is the thing, is that gang stalkers pretty much don't know exactly what's triggering you. They know something is triggering you, but they don't know. So that's why you have to behave like nothing is triggering you. And when you don't, they're gonna become crazy because they're trying to find out things. That's why when someone dropped the keys and I turn around, then the gang stalkers began going to the store like a lot, jiggling their keys like a lot, like behind me, you know, because they thought it was a trigger, but I just thought that I dropped my keys and they weren't mine. So, but it wasn't a trigger, but they thought that it triggered me. So they thought that it was a trigger. So that's why they were trying to push it. So for the last like 3 months of gang stalking, I had to learn how to hide the reality that I was being triggered. I became so good at ignoring it that they were just like insanely, they were like scrubbing everything possible to try to find something that triggered me. They wanted a reaction, but they got none, and they were just like crazy trying to throw in these words at you, screw and hole and this and that, and nothing worked. Nothing. Because I was just so good at pretending like nothing was triggering me, that they were like squirreling their way desperately. I could feel their desperation because nothing was triggering them. And then they were trying to just find as many triggers as possible when nothing was working. And for these months, I was just laughing the whole time because I just could smell the desperation in the air, because they were trying to find a trigger, and yet they could find none. And it made me so happy. It made me so happy because it was when I took charge and when gang stalkers really didn't know what to do, because they were literally just trying to find a trigger, and I gave them nothing. Also, so because I'm so disconnected from the entire gang stalking, they're trying to tie me in. So literally in like the past 20 minutes, there has been like gang stalkers who's standing there, right where they make sure that I can see them, and they're just typing, and then they're looking, and then they're typing on their phone, and then they're looking, and then they're typing. And then someone else was trying to like look through my sunshade, and then I literally yell, "Hell, what the fuck are you looking at?" And he like squirreled away. But then he came back, and then he stood right there where I saw him, like right in front of me, and he began doing that. So in the past, I used to freak out before, but I mean, I don't care anymore. So it literally has no effect anymore. I already got all the information that I wanted from gang stalking. I'm already sharing the other tricks. So me, who cares? They can do the little tricks, they have zero effect. I don't care. I'm too busy to care. So yeah, that's another trick that they do to make you paranoid, is when they're gonna just like stand where you can't see them, and they're gonna be typing, or they're gonna be pretending to be talking on an earpiece. All right, so that's another trick that they do, that they're trying to pull off right now, but I don't really care. And I do care, because it gives me more information for me to tell you about. So in conclusion, with that bullet point, is that hypnotic trigger words, just know that whatever you feel that happened that is causing that trigger, just know that they're just guessing what you're imagining. They're just guessing. They don't know exactly what's in your head. So they're only triggering because they believe that they know. So If you're getting gang stalked, just know that you're free. The gang stalking triggers only work because you think they know something. But the truth is that they know nothing. And the trigger words really only have meaning to you, but not to them. They're only trying to see what it means to you, but they actually mean nothing. All right? So just know that you're actually free. And they're only effective because you believe that they know something about you, but they don't. It's all bullshit. All right? So it is, you've been tricked into believing that they know what you're thinking, but they don't. All right? They have a narrative that they see you have, but the truth is that they really don't know. They really have no idea. They're only guessing. It's all a guessing game. The entire gang stalking operation is a guessing game. All right? They say they only deduce by watching you. All right? So now the next bullet point. It says dark NLP, Neuro, Linguistic, Programming, and Organized Gang Stalking. Street theater comments coinciding with the programming that anchor feelings to certain words, blah blah. Same thing. They don't do such thing as neuro-linguistic programming. They don't know. They're not that advanced. They're stupid. They only know basic manipulation. All right. They have an idea about what you're doing, so they watch you and they observe what you do, and they see if you're nervous. They see if you're running away. So they use everything that you do to try to reduce what you're thinking and your reaction to the words that they throw at you. It's all a trick. It's a trick. It's all a fucking good, amazing, effective trick. And I'm telling you, the truth of the matter is that they're not in your head. You feel like they do because you have been manipulated to feel like they do. That's it. All right? Thank you for watching. Bye.